There are signs that don't shout, no alarm bells ringing, they just quietly change the way we live. For instance, the other day, you sat down in your familiar armchair in the living room. The chair was still the same, but standing up seemed harder than usual. Or when you bent over to tie your shoelaces, you suddenly realized you had to lean to one side, brace your hand on your knee, as if balancing a body that had lost something. No pain, no illness, but something is slipping away, slowly but surely. And if you've ever had a moment like that, please stick around for a few minutes because this isn't just aging. This is a real biological process called sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss. It might sound scary, but the truth is, it starts with incredibly small things: a forgotten glass of water, a skipped meal, a subtle habit repeated over many years. But because of that, we can absolutely stop it, reverse it, starting with just one very small change every day. Today, I invite you to discover the 9 most insidious habits that are quietly weakening your body without you even knowing it, and you'll be surprised, because most of them are very familiar. At 60, many people think that losing strength is simply a matter of time, but doctors and researchers have a very specific name for it: sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss syndrome. This isn't a rare disease. It quietly occurs in about 1 out of every 3 people over 60. And it arrives not with pain, but with silence. One day you feel less confident walking in the supermarket. Another day, you realize you need to hold onto a chair when you stand up, and then gradually, small tasks that were once easy now require hesitation. Why is this important? Because when we lose muscle, we lose more than just strength. We lose independence, the ability to move safely, and sometimes even faith in ourselves. But this isn't a pessimistic message. On the contrary, this is a reason for hope, because recent research has shown we can absolutely preserve and even rebuild muscle, even in our 70s, as long as we know what's quietly harming us every day and start making changes from the smallest things. So, in the next few minutes, let's dive into 9 daily habits that sound harmless but are actually the hidden culprits of muscle loss. And we'll go from the mildest to the most serious, one step at a time. Clear, easy to understand, and after each habit, I'll share a simple solution you can apply today, right in your own home. Ready? Let's begin. There's a seemingly very small habit, but it's the starting point for a cascade of adverse reactions in the body. Not drinking enough water every day. Sounds simple, but the truth is, many people over 60 drink only 3 to 4 glasses of water a day, much less than their body needs. Not intentionally, but because the sensation of thirst isn't as distinct as it was when they were younger. So, we forget. Then we get used to it, and the body slowly becomes dehydrated, without anyone noticing. But internally, what's happening when the body is dehydrated? When we don't drink enough water, the volume of water inside muscle cells decreases. That's like taking away the necessary environment for muscles to live and build every day. Muscles become dried up from within, and the consequences are reduced blood flow to muscle tissue, increased activity of catabolic enzymes, meaning enzymes that break down muscle tissue, and in the long run, reduced protein synthesis capacity, making it harder for muscles to recover and maintain themselves. This isn't just theory. A 2023 observational study published in the journal Nutrients tracked a group of people aged 70 and older. The results showed those who were dehydrated had significantly higher levels of 3-methylhistidine, a marker of muscle breakdown. At the same time, they also had a significantly higher risk of muscle loss compared to the well-hydrated group. The good news is, the solution is very simple. No need to drink liters of water all at once. Just divide it into small glasses, consistently throughout the day. After waking up, 1 glass. Before meals, 1 glass. While watching TV or reading, 1 glass. If you don't like plain water, you can substitute with warm water with a few lemon slices, caffeine-free herbal tea, diluted berry juice, unsweetened. The key is to maintain a stable water intake every day, to keep the lifeblood nourishing your muscles flowing steadily. If you've ever thought, "I'm not thirsty, it's probably fine," then perhaps this is the time to reevaluate, because waiting until you're thirsty, sometimes it's already too late for muscles that are quietly weakening every day. So, a seemingly harmless habit, like not drinking enough water, can quietly weaken your body every day. And it's worth noting, it doesn't stand alone. In our bodies, factors are always interconnected and influence each other. If dehydration reduces blood flow to muscles, then another, even more subtle factor significantly reduces the muscle recovery mechanism at night. Something everyone thinks they have enough of, but is actually most lacking after age 60, and that is sleep. Habit 2. Sleeping less than 6 hours or fragmented sleep. Some nights, you lie down early, but your mind races. Fragmented sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, then tossing and turning until morning, still feeling like you haven't rested at all. For those aged 60 and above, this isn't uncommon. But the worrying thing is, when sleep becomes short and interrupted, muscles also begin to lose strength. Why is this? Our bodies have a nighttime repair mechanism. During deep sleep, growth hormone, GH, and IGF-1 are released. Like muscle-building engineers, they promote protein synthesis, repair microscopic damage in muscles, and keep the musculoskeletal system healthy. But when sleep is cut short, under 6 hours, or fragmented by waking up, these hormones are severely inhibited. Instead, the body increases the secretion of inflammatory substances like CRP and IL-6, factors that quietly promote muscle aging and lean mass loss. This isn't just speculation. A 2023 systematic analysis, published in the Journal of the American Medical Directors Association, analyzed data from over 19,000 people aged 60 and older. The conclusion is very clear. Sleeping less than 6 hours per night increases the risk of sarcopenia by 20 to 40%, depending on the level of sleep disruption. Fragmented sleep with low rest efficiency also significantly increases the risk of lower limb muscle weakness and reduced walking speed. So, what should you do? No need for strong sleeping pills. Start with a fixed sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. Reducing blue light 1 hour before sleep. Avoiding phones, TVs. Listening to soft music, practicing breathing meditation, or reading physical books. Drinking a warm glass of milk or caffeine-free chamomile tea in the evening. And if you often wake up in the middle of the night, use dim night lights. Don't turn on all the room lights. Don't look at the clock. The more you look, the more your brain stresses and struggles to fall back asleep. We can't control our biological clock absolutely, but we can help it get back on track with gentle, persistent, consistent habits. Because good sleep is the most effective muscle recovery medicine without a doctor's prescription. You see, just one night of lost sleep can affect an entire muscle recovery cycle. But there's something else, quieter than sleep, and even harder to sense than thirst. It doesn't cause immediate pain or fatigue, but without it, the body is like a car without oil. The more it runs, the more it grinds and gradually wears out. I'm talking about a group of silent helpers, essential vitamins and minerals for muscle function. And if you're wondering why you still eat a fairly complete diet but are gradually weakening, this could be the missing piece of the puzzle. Habit number 3, lack of vitamins and minerals. Many people still think that to maintain muscle, just eating enough protein is sufficient. But in reality, if protein is the bricks to build a house, then micronutrients like magnesium, vitamin D, B12, and zinc are the mortar, cement, and the builder. Without them, the bricks might still be there, but the structure will never be complete. In older adults, deficiencies in these minerals and vitamins occur very frequently, often without clear symptoms. This can be due to poorer absorption with age, monotonous, undiversified eating, or taking certain medications that hinder absorption. And what are the consequences? Muscles fatigue faster. Reflexes are slower. It's easier to lose balance. And worst of all, significantly reduced protein synthesis efficiency, making it harder for muscles to recover and gradually shrink. A 2014 randomized clinical trial clearly demonstrated this. They divided a group of women aged 65 and older into 2 groups. One group received 300 milligrams of magnesium daily. The other received a placebo for 12 weeks. The result, the magnesium supplementation group significantly increased leg strength and walking speed compared to the other group. They also showed improvement in balance, a crucial factor in preventing falls. It's not just magnesium. A systematic review published in JAMA in 2023 examined a range of studies on micronutrients in older adults, indicating that deficiencies in vitamin D, B12, and magnesium are directly linked to reduced muscle strength and walking speed, and an increased risk of age-related muscle loss. The good news is, we can absolutely supplement these micronutrients through our daily diet without needing medication, unless prescribed by a doctor. For example, magnesium, found in pumpkin seeds, almonds, avocados, leafy green vegetables. Vitamin D, through morning sunlight, salmon, fortified milk. Vitamin B. 12, abundant in eggs, lean meat, milk. Zinc, in chicken, cashews, lentils. And if your doctor deems it necessary, you can take supplements, but always get tested and receive personalized advice before use. So, next time you feel like you're eating fairly well but still weakening, ask yourself, does my body have enough builders to use all those bricks? Because sometimes the smallest deficiency is precisely what slows down the entire body. Beyond sleep, beyond water, those small details like magnesium, zinc, or vitamin D also contribute to a healthy muscle system. However, there's something else, not a deficiency, but an excess that's more concerning. There are foods that look very appealing, taste sweet, are easy to eat, and are so common they're almost in every snack, breakfast, and even main meal. But hidden behind that sweetness is a type of silent muscle destroyer. Not chemicals, not toxins, but something legally added to food that gradually strips away muscle strength year after year. And that is habit 4, eating too much added sugar and refined carbohydrates. Crispy cookies, a slice of white bread with a little grape jam, or a seemingly healthy box of orange juice for breakfast. All these things, at first glance, seem harmless, but if you look closely at the nutrition label, you'll see the small print, added sugar. And that very sugar, when it accumulates daily, is one of the most insidious factors contributing to muscle weakness over the years. Why is this? When we consume too much added sugar, the body responds by increasing insulin production to lower blood sugar. However, over time, cells start to become insulin resistant, and this is extremely important. When insulin doesn't work well, muscles no longer receive the signal to absorb amino acids, which are the building blocks for muscle. Not to mention, added sugar and refined carbohydrates also increase oxidative stress, a type of biological rust that damages muscle proteins and causes chronic inflammation. A 6-year prospective study tracking over 9,000 people aged 50 and older in the U.S. showed that those who consumed over 36 grams of added sugar per day, equivalent to about 1 can of soda plus 1 sweet snack bar, experienced a significantly faster decline in hand grip strength, a strong indicator of muscle loss, compared to the group that consumed less. The important thing is, added sugar doesn't just come from candies. It's found in bottled juices, healthy-looking breakfast cereals, ketchup, bottled salad dressings, and even those low-fat items that are surprisingly sweet. Refined carbohydrates also act similarly, like white bread, white rice, regular pasta. When they enter the body, they convert very quickly into glucose, causing blood sugar spikes and then crashes, leading to fatigue and affecting muscles. So, instead of cutting out everything, let's make smart swaps. White bread to whole wheat bread, juice to whole fruits, prioritize berries, sweet breakfast to oats plus nuts plus unsweetened milk. A small change each day, but it helps your body stop breaking down muscle and start protecting what's left. Because sometimes we don't age and weaken from a lack of nutrients, but from consuming too much of what we thought was normal. Clearly, not everything sweet is kind to our muscles, but if sugar and refined carbs are familiar guests in the kitchen, there's another group of foods that are dangers in disguise. They're not just sweet, they're also convenient. Just heat them up for a few minutes, and you've got a meal. From sausage links and deli slices to frozen French fries in the supermarket, they're all labeled ready to eat. But hidden behind that convenience is a system that causes quiet inflammation in the body, destroying not just the liver and heart but also your dwindling muscle mass. Habit number 5. Eating ultra-processed foods, high nitrite meats, and trans fats. Sometimes you just don't feel like cooking an elaborate meal. A frozen pizza, a can of soup, or a few slices of deli meat in the fridge can be a quick fix for a meal during the day. Convenient, easy to eat. No pots or pans needed, but precisely because they're so convenient, we gradually become dependent, and the more dependent we become, the more our muscles pay the price. Nutritionists call these foods ultra-processed foods, UPF. These are foods that have been significantly altered in their structure, containing many additives, flavorings, artificial colors, and retaining very little or none of the original nutritional value of their raw ingredients. The problem is they're not just junk food. Many Americans over 60, especially those who live alone or have a habit of eating quickly, get up to 50% of their daily calories from UPFs, such as deli meats, ham, bologna, salami, sausages, bacon, salty snacks, packaged French fries, long shelf life white bread, instant noodles, bottled sauces, frozen meals, and what happens in your body when you eat a lot of UPFs. First, they contain many AGEs, advanced glycation end products, substances produced during high heat frying, baking, and processing, which cause chronic inflammation and destroy muscle tissue. Second, nitrite additives in processed meats, when they enter the body, can form nitrosamines, substances that increase oxidative stress and are linked to a decline in lean muscle mass over time. Third, trans fats, though they're being gradually limited in the U.S., still exist in many older snacks or imported products, causing lipid metabolism disorders and increasing the risk of muscle tissue inflammation. A 2024 study by Kong W. and colleagues, using data from Haynes 2011 to 2018, analyzed the link between UPF consumption and lean muscle mass in adult Americans. The results showed that people aged 60 and older with high UPF consumption had a significantly increased risk of reduced lean muscle mass, and this effect was stronger in the group consuming over 60% of their calories from UPFs. The question is, do we need to eliminate all of them completely? The answer is no, but we need to be aware of their presence in each meal and gradually replace them with choices that truly nourish the body. Simple suggestions: switch deli meats to steamed chicken breast or pan-seared salmon. Prepare your own ready-to-eat meals with roasted vegetables and lean protein instead of frozen meals. Change snacks to unsalted roasted nuts, homemade popcorn, or fresh fruit. The key is to return to real food, minimally processed with fewer unfamiliar ingredients. If you look at a food label and see more than 5 lines of hard-to-pronounce words, it might not be what your muscles need. Because your body, especially after age 60, doesn't need more artificiality from packaged foods. It needs authenticity from clean protein, real vegetables, and meals prepared slowly, but that retain true vitality for every muscle fiber. So, just for speed and convenience, we're sometimes loading our bodies with empty things that don't nourish, but instead gradually destroy muscle tissue, which is already fragile with age. But there's something even more regrettable. It's not just eating the wrong thing, it's eating at the wrong time. Many people still believe that simply eating enough protein every day is sufficient, but they don't know that. The timing of meals determines whether muscles receive nutrition or not, especially when we skip breakfast, neglect lunch, and then cram all our protein into dinner. And this seemingly logical habit is quietly turning off the muscle synthesis switch all day long. Habit number 6, insufficient protein intake or saving it all for dinner. Try to recall your most recent breakfast: a slice of bread, a glass of orange juice, maybe a vitamin supplement. It sounds reasonable, but if you look closer, you'll see almost no protein. And that's the problem. Muscles, especially in older adults, don't store protein to use gradually like fat or sugar. They need to be loaded and used continuously, steadily, every few hours throughout the day. But many people, due to hurry or habit, skip breakfast, eat a light lunch, and only at dinner do they eat a lot: meat, eggs, milk, beans. At first glance, the total daily protein intake might still be sufficient, but scientifically, such a distribution means the body misses out on almost an entire day of muscle building. Why is this the case? Older adults' muscle cells need a sufficiently high activation threshold to initiate protein synthesis, also known as mTORC1 activation. If the amount of protein per meal is too low, below the threshold of approximately 0.4 grams per kilogram body weight, the body considers it not worth building, and the muscle synthesis process simply doesn't happen. It's like trying to build a house, but only bringing one brick at a time. No one would start construction. A 2023 review by Tieland et al., published in Proceedings of the Nutrition Society, compared 2 groups of people aged 65 and older. One group concentrated a lot of protein at dinner, and the other distributed protein evenly across 3 meals. The results showed that the group that distributed protein evenly throughout the day increased muscle protein synthesis by up to 25%. They also showed more significant improvements in walking speed, lower limb strength, and lean muscle mass. So, what should you do? No need to eat like an athlete. Just breakfast: 1 egg plus 1/2 cup unsweetened milk plus 1 slice whole wheat bread. Lunch: chicken breast or tuna plus vegetables plus beans. Dinner: a moderate portion of protein. Don't try to cram the whole day's intake here. You can also add light, protein-rich snacks like Greek yogurt, stewed beans, low-fat cheese, nuts, walnuts, almonds, pumpkin seeds. The key is to not let your muscles starve for too long during the day, because after age 60, your body doesn't need one very large meal at night. It needs 3 adequately nourished meals to have a reason to preserve every muscle fiber and every steady step. So, it's not just about eating enough protein, but also about eating it at the right time, because muscles don't have the ability to postpone, as we might think. If they're not consistently nourished, they'll retreat in silence. But there's something even more silent, to the point that many people never think it's related to muscle loss. A habit so common it's almost a reflex. Slight pain, take medicine. Sore knee, take medicine. And so, day after day, week after week, we take NSAIDs or acetaminophen without a second thought, only to unintentionally block the very process of muscle regeneration after exercise. When you hear the phrase over-the-counter pain relievers, 2 names surely come to mind first: ibuprofen and acetaminophen. And yes, they are small pills, easy to find, often readily available in the family medicine cabinet. Take them. Headache gone, knee pain eased, back feels better. No prescription needed, no deep thought required. And that's why many people over 60 use them almost daily, especially for chronic arthritis, back pain, or neck and shoulder stiffness. But what few people know is, these seemingly harmless pills, if used daily, can slow down the process of muscle protein synthesis after exercise by almost half. It might sound surprising, but it's been clearly demonstrated in a very noteworthy study. In 2011, Trapp and colleagues at the Journal of Applied Physiology conducted a 12-week randomized controlled trial on people aged 60 to 75 who were participating in a resistance training program. They divided the participants into 3 groups. Group using ibuprofen, 1,200 milligrams per day. Group using acetaminophen, 4,000 milligrams per day. Group using a placebo. Results after 3 months. Both groups using pain relievers had muscle protein synthesis rates after exercise reduced by almost 50% compared to the placebo group. The ability to increase muscle mass and recover strength also significantly decreased in the medication groups. This doesn't mean you have to stop taking medication completely, especially if your doctor has prescribed it. But it raises a very important question. Am I taking pain relievers as a reflex without considering the long-term effects on my body? A few things you can do instead of relying on daily medication. Prioritize natural pain relief methods, hot-cold compresses, warm baths, gentle yoga. Reduce inflammation through food. Omega-3s from fatty fish, turmeric, green vegetables, berries. Talk to your doctor. See if you can reduce the dosage or switch to intermittent use instead of continuous. And if you're exercising, even just walking, slow cycling, or wall push-ups, regularly taking pain relievers right after could cause your efforts to be quietly erased. Because the body, just like muscles, needs to experience a little mild pain to recover and become stronger. If we soothe every physiological inflammatory response from the start, we might also be soothing away the very recovery process we desperately need. So some things that seem to help us feel better are actually giving our body no reason to recover and rebuild strength. But if pain relievers only affect us after exercise, there's another habit that's even more dangerous because it happens all day long. And often no one notices, because it doesn't cause pain, fatigue, or obvious symptoms. Those are the hours spent sitting still, sitting watching TV, sitting eating dinner, sitting reading the newspaper, sitting in the car. An entire day can pass with you hardly standing up more than 3 to 4 times. It sounds simple, but according to the latest research, just a few days of prolonged sitting without movement can lead to the loss of almost half a kilogram of thigh muscle. And the danger is, muscle loss is easy, but regaining it is incredibly difficult. Habit number 8, sitting motionless for too long. Each day. There's an irony. When we're young, we sit to rest. But as we get older, the more we sit, the more we weaken. Many of you might think, I'm not lazy, I just sit and read, watch TV, do crafts. But if each sitting period lasts longer than 1 hour, and the total sitting time each day exceeds 7 to 8 hours, that's enough to directly affect thigh muscle mass and mobility. When we sit still, especially without regularly flexing and extending our legs, blood flow to the lower limbs sharply decreases. Muscle fibers are not gently activated. And most seriously, the genes controlling muscle growth begin to shut down. Just 3 to 5 days of reduced activity, your body can lose up to 0.4 to 0.5 kilograms of thigh muscle, especially in older adults who already have lower muscle mass than younger people. This isn't just theory. A meta-analysis published in 2023 in eClinical Medicine synthesized 124 studies with over 230,000 participants. The conclusion is very clear. Prolonged sitting time, independent of other factors, increases the risk of muscle loss, sarcopenia. This impact is particularly evident in the lower limb muscles, directly affecting balance and fall prevention. And notably, even in people who exercise every morning, if they sit for too long during the day, the effectiveness of muscle protection is still significantly reduced. So how can you improve? No need to stand up and walk for 2 hours straight. The key lies in small movements, repeated regularly. Set a gentle alarm. Stand up every 30 to 40 minutes. Even just 1 to 2 minutes is enough. While watching TV, stretch your arms, do calf raises, rotate your ankles. When on the phone, stand up and walk a few steps around the house. Place your water bottle out of reach. 2. Force yourself to stand up and get it. And if you already have some weakness in your legs, starting with simply flexing and extending your knees while sitting is already good. Because muscles aren't lost in the gym, they're lost during the hours we sit too long. And to maintain that strength, sometimes all it takes is one step up. We can lose muscle just from sitting too long, without injury, without illness, just inactivity. But there's something that makes muscles waste away even faster, not from lack of movement, but from a substance we actively put into our bodies every day. A glass of wine before dinner, a can of beer while watching baseball, a little whiskey to help sleep. At first glance, it seems civilized, lighthearted, nothing to worry about. But for a body after 60th, ethanol is no longer an easygoing companion. It's a quiet destroyer of muscle tissue, in a truly biological sense. And the sad truth is, very few people know about this aspect of alcohol. Habit number 9. Frequent alcohol consumption. Alcohol, in many people's eyes, isn't a problem. A glass of wine every night to relax. A can of beer while watching the home team play. Some even believe that red wine is good for the heart. And it's true, if consumed in small infrequent amounts, alcohol might not be harmful. But the question is, what is small? And does a body over 60 truly adapt as well as it did at 30 to 40? What few people know is, ethanol and acetaldehyde, the two main substances produced after drinking alcohol, have a direct impact on muscle fibers, especially type 2 muscle fibers, the type responsible for strength, quick reflexes, and balance. With prolonged exposure, these substances cause a condition called alcoholic myopathy, which is muscle wasting due to alcohol, making muscles thinner, weaker, and harder to recover after exercise. A large 2023 analysis from UK Biobank data, a study on nearly 196,000 people aged 40 to 69, showed a concerning finding. Those who consumed 40 to 160 grams of alcohol per day, equivalent to approximately 3 to 10 standard drinks, had a 3.6% to 6% reduction in muscle mass index compared to the non-drinking group, and the impact was more pronounced in the group age 60 and older. This means just 2 glasses of wine per day, repeated consistently, is enough to weaken your body over the years, even if you eat healthily and walk every morning. Alcohol even reduces the absorption of B vitamins, zinc, and magnesium, factors we previously discussed as being crucial for maintaining muscle strength. So, if you have a habit of drinking alcohol frequently, what is the safe limit? According to the USDA's 2020 to 2025 dietary guidelines, people over 65 should limit alcohol to less than or equal to 1 standard drink per day. For example, 1 standard glass of wine, approximately 5 ounces or 150 milliliters. 1 standard can of beer, 12 ounces or 350 milliliters, or 1 shot of hard liquor. And even for those with underlying conditions like high blood pressure, fatty liver, or diabetes, complete reduction will always be more beneficial. If you want to maintain your muscle mass, your gait, and your daily independence, alcohol should be the first thing to reconsider. Not for moral reasons, not for prohibition, but because you deserve to be healthier every day. So you and I have just gone through 9 very familiar habits, but each habit, if quietly repeated every day, can contribute to your body weakening without you even knowing it. Let's look back again, slowly. First are the things that seem harmless. Forgetting to drink water, causing muscles to lack blood flow and be easily broken down. Fragmented sleep, turning off the ability of muscles to recover at night. Lack of magnesium, vitamin D, B12, disrupting the chain reaction of contraction-extension recovery for each muscle group. Then, what we eat. Too much added sugar and refined carbohydrates, causing muscles to rust from within. Ultra-processed foods, nitrated meats, bringing microtoxins that destroy muscle tissue daily. And even when eating enough protein, if we cram it all into dinner, muscles still don't get enough opportunity to grow. And finally, the things that come from our lifestyle habits, taking pain relievers every day, unintentionally hindering muscle recovery after exercise, sitting motionless for hours on end, causing muscles to hibernate and waste away quickly, and frequent alcohol consumption, something many people don't realize causes type 2 muscle atrophy, the type of muscle that keeps our gait and balance steady. You see, it's not due to one big mistake, but due to small things repeated in silence. But what's the wonderful thing? If each bad habit is a small stone, then by simply removing each stone, your body will have room to rebuild strength. You don't need to change everything at once. Just pick one thing, one small habit to improve this week, and each week after that, add one more thing. No one is forcing you to train like an athlete, but if every day you do one thing, even a very small thing, to protect each muscle fiber, then one day those very muscle fibers will protect you from falls, from dependence, from the fear of having to ask others to do things that were once very simple. Your body doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be loved correctly. If you're still here, thank you for taking the time to accompany me until the very end. I believe that, just by understanding why muscle is lost, you already have half the key to getting it back. Now I want to ask you one thing, very gently. Among the 9 habits today, which one do you find yourself most struggling with? Or was there any habit that surprised you because it turns out that was the culprit? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. I read every single comment, and I'm eager to learn more about your journey. And if you found this video helpful, please share it with your spouse, friends, or family members who are entering their 60s and beyond, because sometimes just a small change, starting with the right information, can lead to a healthier life journey. Dear friend, a body after 60 is like a garden that has endured many seasons of sun and wind. There are broken branches, fallen leaves, but the roots are still deep, the soil is still warm, and if it's cared for with the right things, it can still sprout new growth. Muscles are the same. No need to return to your 30s. Just enough for you to stand up without assistance, walk around the yard without fear of falling, and do small tasks without needing to ask anyone for help. I hope this video is not just a one-time watch, but a reminder to yourself that there's still a chance. There are still muscles. There's still tomorrow. May you always be strong enough, in your own unique way. See you in the next video.